Joining us now, Air Marshal Dr. Rajiv Sachdeva. He's the ex-Deputy Chief of Integrated Defence Staff. We also have Lieutenant General Raj Shukla, Defence Expert, former Army Commander, joining us. Joining us also is Major Samal Pal Tur, who's a retired Defence Analyst. We also have Mehran Murray, representative of Baluchistan at the UNHRC and EU, joining us. Let me come across to you. Lieutenant General Raj Shukla, of course, we can't take any statement coming in from Pakistan at face value. The number of flip-flops we've seen today itself is, of course, an indication of that, from Khwaja Asif to the number of flip-flops that we've seen. But, you know, when you have an advisor to the Prime Minister who comes out to say that we've assured other countries that we will not further escalate the situation, can we read much into that? Is it a Pakistan that is completely spooked and scared of war that is speaking now?
So possibly, Madhav, because, you know, in Sindoor, I see two things. One is that Indian statecraft does seem to have come of age. And secondly, we have established new normals in our strategic outlook. So let me say what we have done. You know, Mr. KPS Gill, the super cop, many years ago said that we will not win the war on terror merely by running after terrorists. We will win it by overwhelming the adversary. So I think Sindoor has helped to convert that wisdom into a strategic reality. We have done enough of running after terrorists. This time we've taken the battle right to the source. And in terms of calibrated military kinetics. So in the manner in which the calibrated military kinetics has unfolded, at least thus far in round one, based on the available evidence, I think we've done quite well. It should be a 8 on 10 or a 9 on 10. Secondly, you see, in selections of the target array, there is some very astute messaging. We have said, this time we have focused on these terror targets. We could do more, we haven't done it. So we are not escalating it to a larger domain. We retain escalatory dominance. Should you wish to hit back, we are lying in wait for you. That's the second thing. The third thing I think we have really called out is the schoolboy bluff of nuclear terror. You see, it cannot be that under a nuclear cover, you go on this whole terror rampage. I think that message has, gone down. And last, as I said, we retain escalatory dominance. There are many domains which haven't been utilized so far. There are many instruments which have not been leveraged. So the whole power and purpose of Indian statecraft, I think, is challenging Pakistan. And that is what gets them to make these escapist statements.
Absolutely. And in fact, let me take this across to Air Marshal Rajiv Sachdeva. Air Marshal Rajiv Sachdeva, it's been a coordinated response. All our three defense services were closely involved. The kind of munitions that have been used to strike deep into Pakistan, not just PoK anymore. We're not just crossing the LOC, but the message is very clear that we will cross the IB and we will hit you deep into your country if you dare to spread this terror again.
Absolutely fine. We haven't yet utilized our depth capability because the BrahMos haven't been used. We can go up to 400 kilometers with them. We just went into 100 kilometers. So that's what I've been hearing, that more targets could be taken on if you do not behave yourself. But Madhav, is that all? Are we done? Are they done? Is that our final aim, hitting 9 targets? And yes, जो सिंदूर मिटाया उसका बदला आज हमने लिया. That's very fine. It was required immediately, but won't they regroup and come back again like it was being spoken in your previous session? They will regroup. So what is our final aim with this particular adversary? Our final aim is disintegration, leading them into a civil war, do something more, trouble the non-influential and scare the influential in that country, so that actually a civil war breaks down and the whole country decides. We should not have an adversary which can regroup and come back again and again, and we keep finding targets. All these targets are marked, all these targets are known, all the strike, be it Army, Navy, Air Force, is aware. We are just looking for the political leadership to say, go, when, hit what. We are all ready for that. But is that all? That's what I'm worried. It's one, maybe lesson 1 over. We have to finish the chapter as fast as possible because this particular government has got the capability of going in. So let's reach our final aim of disintegrating the whole nation.
Right. Let me bring in Mehran Mari. Mehran Mari, the very fact that India for the first time has struck deep into the heartland, it struck in Bahawalpur, something that Pakistan would have never expected. They perhaps expected something across the LOC. And, it's been sustained. It's been all the way from the LOC right to the south of Punjab. What are we expecting now in terms of response of Pakistan? There's a lot of chest thumping going on from that side. But really, are they in any position to fight back?
Yeah. I think Pakistan underestimated India because India's constant practice of tolerance, avoidance, restraint, and non-interference in Pakistan, especially when it comes to the issue of Balochistan. And I think that day when this fake mullah, Asif Munir, gave his speech against the Hindus and portraying himself as the noble race, he did not expect that this would really take shape in the way it has, because a week later, the attack happened in Kashmir. And now the way India is responding, he did not preempt all this. So they're very scared, they're trembling. I mean, the man is in a bunker. He has not been seen. So it is all a surprise to them. They were hoping that India would brush it under the carpet and inko maaf kar dega per se, that a naughty child has done something wrong. But thank God this time India took the right steps.
Absolutely. And in fact, what are the right steps from here on, Major Samarpal Tour? Because, diplomatically speaking, there is an assurance that India has very clearly given and a message has been sent out. Pakistan doesn't seem to be in a position to even respond to it. But what really are we going to do from here on, as Air Marshal Sachdeva has just expressed? Is this going to be the end of it, or does India reserve the right to strike again?
Madhav, I'll just get everyone to ground reality that today evening was the first day of the blackout drill practiced. It's not even been for 24 hours and everybody is in question that, Pakistan is not going to retaliate. So first, let us get all the wrong notions away. For at least 72 hours, coming 3 days, I strongly feel that there might be a retaliation, but as far as the doctrine of war is concerned, never give something to the enemy when they are expecting it the most. So I am definitely sure that Pakistan too is going to delay its response in terms of its retaliation, and it has said that it reserves its place and time of carrying out a retaliatory strike. Number one. Number two, if they don't do it, they will lose credibility as they already have by, going against the PTI, by jailing Imran Khan and the atrocities that they're already doing in Balochistan. So definitely the Pakistan army is not having a good face in the public. So it has to do something decisive, which can probably, get a common public opinion, unify the people together. That can only be done when it strikes India. Then the options, I really want to know that what are the feasible options for it at the moment. Now, if we have stopped the water, so probably with logic, the target is going to be certain dams or some strategic locations near or around Punjab. But I really doubt if they are going to go beyond Punjab towards Delhi, because they'll be shot down. And you see, things will get ugly in case the Air Force crosses the IB and any of the pilot gets shot down. Then it is definitely going to spiral out of control. Right. And fourthly, let's look at the statistics. They've been providing, all the artillery ammunition to Ukraine. They themselves are just having a reserve of 10 days of artillery ammunition. So they are short of ammunition. And on the 28th of April, a consignment of 50,000 kamikaze drones was delivered to Pakistan from China. So what I want to say is, keeping in mind the modern warfare and tactics, that let us not be surprised if these 50,000 kamikaze drones are going to be piloted by the Chinese operators on the Pakistani soil against India. Okay. So, definitely Pakistan is not going to have any dearth of ammunition, because China is definitely going to fuel it with whatever. But
a lot of that Chinese ammunition actually didn't work in terms of the attempt from Pakistan side today, is what we are told. But let me bring in Air Marshal Sachdeva on, these images that we are seeing. Just look at this. Nothing is left to the imagination, Air Marshal Sachdeva. What are men in uniform doing at the funeral of terrorists? If indeed this terror infrastructure and that of the Pakistan army are separate, look at the large number of men in uniform who are present at the funeral of these terrorists. raising obvious connections of the ties between these terror groups and the Pakistani army.
Terrorists not only the army being there, they were wrapped in the national flag. They had a COAS wreath over one of the terrorist coffin which moved in front of the cameras.
Shocking.
And that's what I said. They are all going to get together and regroup. They're not going to leave it at that. Absolutely right. A few days later, they have to. Otherwise, they will not have face in front of the people, which is as it is ready for a civil war, because we are troubling them from all angles, be it west, be it south, be it east. So this is surprising that they were all hand in hand, and we said no, they are not hand in hand. They've always been saying we got nothing to do with the terrorists. Sorry, the terrorists are right there along with the army.
Absolutely.
So it's a little this thing that they will regroup together.
Absolutely. Virat Murray, I want you to come in on this, and also the fact that, within the Pakistan army, there's been a lot of dissent against the current army chief. Within Pakistan, we've seen protests in recent days in Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and of course, Baluchistan against the Pakistan army. How much of that sentiment is actually reflecting on ground and is going to bring pressure as far as the current situation is concerned?
Yeah, there's a few factors at play over here. This President Napak army chief, he's from a madrasa background. I think his father was a preacher in a madrasa and he grew up in that kind of environment. So he is more Zia type of an army chief. Non-drinking, no whiskey, no wine for this guy. So it's more preaching and mullah and some warped idea of Islam and Muslims are good. And I don't even think they're the real Muslims, but they're in a predicament right now. Internally, with the popular leader being in jail, they're in a big mess. They've got an idiot like Shahbaz Sharif and Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, whatever he is. These are the puppets playing out in the parliament or in the circus for this army chief. His popularity on the ground is very low. He's bloody-nosed in Balochistan on a daily basis. His army is scared to come to Balochistan. They don't know how to travel. They can't travel by train. They can't travel by convoys. They're scared to come. Most of them are deserting the army from Balochistan. So their morale and their existence is at the lowest point since its creation in 1947. Therefore, I think he wanted to boost his ratings, and it just went counterproductive. He went and made that big hate speech against India and Hindus and tried to promote his army in front of Uber drivers in a hidden hotel in Islamabad to call foreign investors or whatever he did. It backfired badly. And I think this time, कौवा दोनों टांगों से फंस गया है और इस कौवे का इस दफा सर कुचलना चाहिए हमको.
All right. इस बार क्या असर होगा? What will be the final plan? Of course, remains to be seen. But Major Samar Partur, not an unfamiliar script when it comes to Pakistan. But look at the huge amount of fake news emanating from there today. They've actually concocted news of a brigade headquarters being targeted. They're claiming that a white flag was shown. It is a clear sign of desperation on Pakistan's part because they've been hit so badly. It's come down to concocting stories to try and show that they've won in this kind of a conflict.
You see, Madhav, the Pakistan public is going to definitely put a lot of tremendous pressure on the Pakistan army. And as our seniors and my dear colleague said, that there are no guarantees of a next Pahalgam. There are actually no guarantees. I mean, we've not got the main guys. They're still, walking free. They're protected by the ISI. So there are no guarantees that, such an attack is not going to take place. There are sleeper cells right now who are watching the news, who are keeping themselves updated to receive certain news for a green signal from the other end to give another, attack into the valley. So we are facing an enemy in clear and present danger everywhere. So my request is, if any citizen sees any suspicious activity or object, please go to the nearest government installation and give them the information, and it will be taken care of. And these are testing times. We have to maintain our calm. We have to follow the directives of the government. And trust me, I am telling you, they are not going to keep quiet. They are definitely trying to save face. Otherwise, there is no relevance of Pakistan military anymore. Absolutely. And as far as PoK is concerned, I really want to know what is the government will, what is the Indian government will to, either, take back Pakistan occupied Kashmir, or, to demilitarize it. And when it comes to the nuclear assets of Pakistan, do we, do the denuclearization of the Pakistan?
Well, very questions that emerge out of today's actions, Major Samarpal Toor, and certainly, of course, perhaps all of this will be answered in days to come. Are we in it for the long haul? Are the citizens of India strongly backing the government? For the moment, definitely yes, from the kind of responses that we are seeing, and certainly, of course, standing by strongly in solidarity with our defense forces who've shown how really India can respond to Pakistan's acts of terror. Air Marshal Rajiv Sachdeva, Lieutenant General Raj Shukla, Major Samarpal Toor, and Mehran Mari, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening.